From Little League to the big leagues and everywhere in between. From one stage to another. Passion is my middle name. I'm J.J. Davis. This is In Focus. It was a long time ago. Decades ago, don't you think, Marty? It was a long time ago when yours truly was the then sports director at KPTM Fox 42 in Omaha. I did, as we say, a live sportscast from then Rosenblatt Stadium. And my guest was a young up-and-comer with the then Omaha Royals. His name? Well, he's now the current president and general manager of the Omaha Storm Chasers, Martie Cordaro.
JJ, it's great to be here.
It seems like a trillion years ago, Marty.
This is my 20th season in Omaha, so it is a trillion years ago.
2007, if somebody would have told you you'll still be here in 2026, what would you say?
I would not. I would have lost that bet, honestly. I would have. You know, I recently talked to Crash Davis here in town, and we were having a similar conversation. Right. And having lived in 3 minor league cities over the 8 previous years prior to Omaha.
Sounds like a broadcasting career for yours truly.
You're exactly right. And, you know, we similar paths, you know, for those of us that are in sports, media, military, we kind of joke about that and converse about it. But no, I would not have thought that all 3 of our boys ultimately would have grown up here and graduated from high school here and gone on to bigger and better things. But no, 20 years is great. But Sarah and I love it. We love it here. This has become home. You know, we're not here kicking and screaming. We're here because we want to be here.
Right, but this is your home away from home.
Yeah,
you grew
I guess
up
so.
in Ruston, Louisiana. Tell me about the young Marty growing up.
Yeah, you know, I grew up the oldest of 5 in North Louisiana. Ruston is where Louisiana Tech is.
And the Bulldogs, baby.
It is. I played baseball and other sports from an early age. I started playing drums at an early age and ultimately graduated from Ruston High School and went to Louisiana Tech. I was going to be a baseball coach.
Was it a gimme? You were going to go to Bulldogs country?
Yeah, probably. I would say probably. My dreams were on drumming and becoming rock star.
Rock and roll star at heart?
Yes. Yeah, those were my dreams, but I also loved baseball. So I was in education. I was going to be a baseball coach. And then long story short, I dropped out of college for about 4 years because our band signed a small independent record deal. We traveled the southeastern pocket of the country for about 3.5 years. My parents were not very happy with me at that time, but I learned so much that I did at 2 a.m. trying to get paid from drunk bar owners and doing college radio interviews and so many things then that really prepared me for a career in minor league baseball that I had no idea that there were parallels. You know, when you're 20 years old, you don't know what you're going to be doing.
Of course, you dream.
Yeah.
You think you can do everything.
Yeah, so long story short, band breaks up, I go back to college, and I end up changing my major to marketing and worked for the baseball program at Louisiana Tech for 3 years. That's how I got onto the business side away from the coaching side.
So you leave Louisiana Tech. I saw there was a team used to be in New Orleans called the Baby Cakes.
That's right, New Orleans Baby Cakes.
Did you get affiliated with them at all? Did you think of that? What?
I didn't. You know, the interesting thing about that, Jay Miller actually moved. He ran that, built the ballpark, ran that club. They were the Denver Zephyrs, moved to New Orleans as the New Orleans Zephyrs. And how long I've been in Omaha, I was actually in Omaha when they changed their name from the Zephyrs to the Baby Cakes. So, and that was short-lived. They were only the Baby Cakes for 2 or 3 seasons. And then, you know, that club went away. You know, they don't have a club there anymore. They ended up moving to Wichita is where they moved. And then COVID happened and they went from AAA to AA. That's a whole nother interview.
So tell me about the drummer to the baseball executive.
Well, I played in a number of bands, as we all do in middle school.
Who's your favorite band? Who's your favorite band?
My favorite band, gosh, there's so many great bands. I mean, but I guess right now, if I had to pick one, it would probably I've gone back to my roots a little bit. I've been listening to a lot of Soundgarden
Yes.
and learning and reading about Chris Cornell, and their guitarist Kim Thayil just came out with an autobiography literally 2 weeks ago. So I'm not a huge grunge guy, but I was a big Soundgarden guy, and I think Chris Cornell has one of the most underrated voices in music history, not just rock history, but his voice is eerily good, and obviously a sad ending to
Back
his
to your history. Music, baseball.
Yeah.
We segued a little bit. We got off track. Go.
That we both do that.
That's right. Where they're chords. It's like playing music.
That's
you know what I mean?
that's
You gotta
right.
be able to jam.
That's right. But no, the drumming took me as far as it was going to take me, and at that time, and then I got into the business side of baseball through marketing at Louisiana Tech, and Major League Baseball, minor league baseball used to have a huge job fair as part of the annual baseball winter meeting. So I went to Nashville in 1998, December of '98. That's how I got my first minor league job, and that was with the Cubs AA team in Jackson, Tennessee, and that was the '99 season, JJ.
What'd you do?
I sold group tickets. I took a job, $600 a month plus commissions, and my 3-year-old at the time, his name is Gavin. He's now 30, but my 3-year-old and we moved from Ruston, Louisiana to Jackson, Tennessee. Did know a soul. And I started a minor league career selling group tickets to little league teams, churches, companies.
You do whatever it takes.
I did, and I was frustrated because at Louisiana Tech I sold sponsorships. So I'm sitting here saying, I want to be in sponsorship and corporate sales. But it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me because I learned that empty seats don't eat no hot dogs. And tickets are the lifeblood of theater, of concerts, of music, of high school events, college events, pro events, sporting events, whatever it may be. So it was the most important thing that could have happened to my career. I just didn't know that I was living it.
Well, we never did. So then you learn to conjure up and create ideas. Correct?
Absolutely. And then I started to learn the promotional side, the customer service side, the entertainment side, the game operation side, everything else that goes, food and beverage, everything that goes into what we do in minor league baseball. And it was something that I quickly learned that I think I have a future in this. And I think it's something that I could do for whatever period of time.
Well, your future really began here, 2007, because we do that sports cast, whatever, from Rosenblatt.
Yeah.
You talked about a new stadium. You got it. Where are you now?
Well, we just celebrated 5 million fans at Warner Park. So we're in the 16th year of the ballpark and 58th year affiliated with the Royals. So, could things be better? They can always be better.
Exactly.
So we continue to strive to do more things for the community.
Exactly.
And sell more tickets and create more memories for fans. But that's ultimately what we're in, and that's the memory-making business.
But in the process, you were, 2011 PCL Executive of the Year, 2013 Major League Baseball Executive of the Year, George Brett Award in 2020, combating ALS. The Storm Chasers won a couple of PCL titles, 13 and 14. What does that mean to you?
Well, it's great to be a part of winning. And
winning solves all ills. Marty.
Yeah, I those of us that are in my seat, I always tell people, when people ask what I do, I said the easier thing to say is what I don't control, and that's baseball and weather. And if I chose one of those, it would be weather because we would be more profitable. But the Royals do a great job of providing teams. So while it's great to win, the Royals have to take credit for winning the PCL titles. Everything else, they're team awards. Probably the one personal one would be the George Brett Award, commitment to ALS in 2020. That is very personal to me from a standpoint of having served on the ALS board for about 17 years. No personal connection when I started, but over years you get to know people and people that have battled ALS. Still some people that are still battling ALS, and I was fortunate to in 2014 to go to Washington D.C. with a couple that was battling ALS, the Kurt and Mary Mance, and learn so much about lobbying for those that may not have a voice in trying to help others. But that's the real personal one for
But
me.
you also have a connection to Star Wars.
I do.
Yoda. He
Yeah.
says, I'm just like Yoda. I see eye to eye on everything. Explain.
That's kind of funny. All right.
Explain.
Yeah. Well, my dad took me to see Star Wars in 1977. I was 4 years old, and it's long been something I just love. I had some toys when I was growing up, and about, I don't know, 12 years ago or so, I said, you know what? I probably need another busy thing in my life with my schedule.
And with Marty, busy's not the word. Right.
So I started collecting vintage Star Wars toys probably about 10, 11, 12 years ago. And it's fun. It's become, for a while when my kids were younger, it was something I kind of did with them, but now they're older and it's not cool at this point in time.
That's right, because
but
we're older.
But it's still fun. It's still fun.
But with Yoda seeing eye to eye on everything, you've also gone on record as saying, the awards are great and all that, but the credit really goes to the 80 or 90 people that work at the ballpark.
That's true.
That really provide the entertainment. I just, quote unquote, steer the ship.
And that's true. Absolutely. Our recently retired CFO, Lori Schlender, she was a Rawlings Woman of the Year in baseball in 2017. She deserves a lot of credit. And, I don't want to leave anyone out, but there's a long list of staff that are here now and have come before me and worked. But I truly believe this. I wouldn't say I always live it, but I believe that I work with everyone at the ballpark. They don't work for me.
Right.
And when we work together and we work with each other, more absolutely can be accomplished.
And Rob Crane used to work with the Storm Chasers. He now works with the Boston Celtics.
And Boston Rob.
He is, that's right, we all used to call him Boston Rob. He's gone on record as saying, Marty deserves all the credit he can get. But as you see, he's a real humble guy. He just passes it along. He's just a link in the chain, right?
I believe that. Yeah, I do. I believe that. And I think we all are there. We all have roles. We all have titles. We all have responsibilities. Again, but if we work together, we can accomplish more.
Well, you accomplish a lot as a drummer. You still drumming?
I am. Yeah, playing in a local band. This is their 31st
Strange Pleasures?
It is, yeah. But make sure if you Google that, you put band at the end of it. So, yeah, Greg and Steve and Kyle have been doing it for 31 years, as I just said, and I joined them in 2021. Yeah, we have a lot of fun when we are able to play around my schedule. My schedule kind of yeah.
Is there a band set? Is there a drum set in your office?
There's not one in my office. I've got one at home, and then I've got one at the band room. But
so compare to me the pleasures: president, general manager, minor league baseball team, drummer, band. Compare for me the pleasures, the joy you get out of it. How do you compare them?
Oh, it's different. It's different in a sense of, there's really not pressure. We do the music because we want to. We're not doing it because we have to make the money. We go to work because we have to make money and we need money. But
you like it.
I love it. We do it because we love it. And they had, in essence, broken up through COVID. They weren't playing. And I was playing with another band, and how we got together, and I had known them for about 10 years. How we got together was we had a gig. The previous band had a gig booked at Warner Park in June of 21. And 3 or 4 weeks before that gig, the other 3 band members said, we can't play that show. Well, I was frustrated because if I'm nothing else, I try to be a man of my word and schedules, and we had committed to something. So I went to the Strange Pleasures guys, and I said, I know you guys aren't playing, but we've known each other for a decade or so, and we've joked about getting together and jamming around. I've got our first gig. And they're like, but you don't know our music. I said, but I will. So that's actually how we started playing. And so Strange Pleasures, I guess, reformed, if you will, after maybe a year hiatus. And last year we played about 15 shows, and it's fun.
So this guy plays a drummer in real life. He plays a PCL executive in real life. He's also a father and a husband, faces on the barroom floor at the Omaha Press Club. He's done so many things. Thanks, Marty.
JJ, awesome.
Martie Cordaro, drummer extraordinaire, PCL executive extraordinaire. Coming up next, another guy that makes memories. when we come back. This guy is a gentleman. Oh, check that. Make that a gentle man. I got to know him when I did a show for him at the Performing Arts Repertory Theater this past winter. Now, to me, he is all things theater, but most importantly, just a kind, gentle soul. It is my honor. Sitting to my right, if you will, is the amazing Gordon Cantiello.
Perfect.
Now, I can't be the first guy or woman that has said that about you.
Maybe.
Come on, Gordon.
It's been a long time since I've done this.
Now, here's the thing about Gordon. So I call him up, say, hey, Gordon, I want to do this. We want to do this show with you. First thing out of his mouth, can I bring a cast member? No, Gordon. It's about you. Have you always been that way?
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically an introvert, you know, but when you play a role on stage, that's how I started as an actor. You know, you bring on those characteristics of of the character. But as a director, I'm real quiet and unassuming, and that's really who I am. I don't need the that ego that says it's all about me, when it's really all about them.
Well, who you are started in Amsterdam, New York.
God,
I mean,
done your
taken from the
research.
capital of the Netherlands, Dutch perchance, and you're Italian. How does that work?
Well, my parents were born in Italy, and they came over with their parents at different times.
Right.
My mom, my dad, and they had a family, and so they originally went to Philadelphia, from New York to Philadelphia. That's where they settled, and then they moved upstate New York,
Right.
Amsterdam.
32 miles outside of Albany. What do you remember about those young days?
I don't. No. The last time I was back there, unfortunately, my brother passed, but I still have an uncle who's still living. My mom was one of 9 children, so he's the last one. But it's a beautiful upstate New York, you know, Albany, Schenectady, Amsterdam, beautiful part of the country, the Adirondacks. So it's a beautiful area. But, you know, when I left, I went to school in Maine, and I left. And my mom, being an Italian mother, she didn't quite believe that I was, you know, breaking, pulling away.
Right.
But I had to. I knew I had to. I had to experience.
Right.
Or else I think I would have just stayed there.
And did he experience first a community college in New York, then Ricker College in Maine? It's not there anymore. Then Schiller International University in Tampa. And then why not? Let's go to San Diego State. So you have run the gambit. Why?
I'm an adventurer. You know, I love to travel. And it was Schiller International University in Berlin, Germany.
Oh.
But there is a campus in Tampa, though. You're
Right.
right. But it was an international school, campuses all over Europe. And I chose the theater program in Berlin because of all the theater that was there, the Berliner Ensemble and all the theater, musical theater that was there.
Where does this come from? You're wanting to perform.
Oh, gosh. I think at the age of 10, I was a youngster, and I heard this music in our neighborhood coming from a church basement. It was our church, Catholic church, and I poked my head in the window, and the director said, you know, come on in, come on in. They were rehearsing Oklahoma. So he said, come on in. So I just was like, this is great. This is beautiful. I bet he's singing and having fun. So he cast me in a small role in the chorus at age 10. The farmer and the common should be, you know, this thing.
You know, the funny thing is we still remember certain things, right, Gordon?
Oh, gosh, yes. That's the beginning. And then I was a youngster in junior high, and he said, would you like to come up to the high school to play Pinocchio in our children's theater program. So I was very lucky, and I got introduced to that whole program, beautiful program by our director, Bert DeRose, who handled all of the theatrical events there. So,
And for you, I mean, that's just been the beginning. Grammar school, high school,
yeah,
the Burt Wheeler Theater
yeah.
in New York. What'd you learn there?
Well, I auditioned. I was living in New York City, and I auditioned for You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. And I walked in for the audition, and I read, and they said, "Well, thank you very much. It was very good." But,
Right.
So I waited in the lobby because my friend Sharon went in, and she auditioned as well. We went to the audition together. And so she read, and of course there was nobody to read with her, so they called me back in to read for the role.
And you know what?
And you know
That's the way it works, right, Gordon?
And the end of the story is I got the part.
That's the way it works.
So we performed at the Burt Wheeler Theater there. I don't know how many months it was, but some off Broadway, I should say.
And then the Priscilla Beach Theater.
Plymouth,
What'd you
Minnesota.
learn there? Why there?
That was all summer stock. Well, actually, it was an apprentice program. So, you had to pay in those days to apprentice. You had to, break the leaves. You had to clean the restrooms.
Right.
You had to, and if you were lucky, you got a walk-on role to do. And so that was I think 4 to 6 weeks apprentice program.
Wow.
There. But that's where I, again, started this whole
All right, well, let's continue. Saratoga Music Theater.
Saratoga Music Theater. Again, I don't know how this happened. I auditioned they were doing either Kismet or South Pacific. And I got cast, the third guard in Kismet, holding a spear. But I was introduced to all these New York City people. So it's the difference between New York City and upstate.
Right.
So, theater is all about networking.
Correct.
And,
It's who you know.
It's who you
And
know.
being at the right spot at the right time.
And having
being
it-
for the right part, etc.
and also, besides, also having the ability, once they see
Once you get it,
once you get
then
it,
you got to show it.
make sure that you have that ability to pull through.
Lake Placid Center for the Arts. When I think of Lake Placid, you know what I'm thinking of.
I feel like my whole life has passed.
It makes us feel old, doesn't it? Gordon?
Gosh. I auditioned in New York City for a role in Man of La Mancha and got cast as one of the muleteers in that. And I think we did the Fantastics too. It was a winter season. It was a beautiful new theater that they had there. And, you audition and you job out in different cities.
So all these years you grow as an actor. How?
Well, I think it's about observation, learning, watching, listening. And Ruth Gordon once said, no matter how bad going to a theater performance, no matter how perhaps not good production, there's always something to learn from it.
Right.
So I was a great observer. I mean, because that's a lot about acting, observing and watching other people, what works and what doesn't work.
Right.
So I've learned a lot of things that way through trial and error and watching, and good things and not so good things.
What does the name Barbara Ziegler mean to you?
Oh God, she was wonderful. I met her at Priscilla Beach Theater. She was a musical director there, excuse me. And she said, if you were ever free, would you come to Nebraska to direct or teach or whatever? And I said, yeah, I'm an actor. If I don't have a job, I'll be happy to fly to Omaha to help you with the show.
What did you know of Nebraska?
I didn't know. I knew.
I'm from the East Coast, so I
Tornadoes.
knew nothing either.
Yeah, tornadoes, planes. I'd never been here.
And when you got here, what'd you find
I
out?
loved it. I mean, on the plane ride to Omaha was a wonderful opera singer named Beverly Sills. And she was on the same flight, and she was flying first class. I was in coach, but I recognized her. She had this big fur coat on and just beautiful red hair. And I saw her, and I said hello to her, and she responded. And so we chatted just a little bit, but she was performing. I think they flew her in for an opera Omaha, and that night I saw her at the French Cafe in the Old Market.
So how do you switch over from being in front of, on the stage, to directing? What causes that?
Well, I think I've always been a teacher, and I think a lot of directing is teaching people how to do things, and trying to get the best out of people. I've always, played school and growing up.
That's right.
And you do those things, and I always had that. It's a gift, I think. I don't talk about that much, but it's a gift that it's innate. I don't think you can teach it. I don't think you almost can't even teach certain aspects of acting. It has to be an innate talent that you have, and a good director can bring that out.
Well, I was just going to say, a good director has the innate ability to see what the actor, him or herself, can't. Right?
That's absolutely, yeah. And you do your best, within limits, to let that other it's all about perception, because you can't see that when you're
No.
playing,
No.
when you're acting.
No.
But that other person, that director, and if they manipulate it in a good sense of the word to get that emotion out of you, or to get that feeling, or to get the rhythm of that character out.
Now, you've gone on record as saying, listen, when I retire, I'm going to do this 24/7. Well?
Yeah, I retired from teaching, and I thought, I don't think, I'm not good. I don't think I'm very good at sitting and just flopping down in front of the chair.
Gordon, that's my line. I'm sorry.
To do that. So, yeah, I'm still doing it.
So what do you see in your future? Just more shows?
Well,
Here we go.
I'm going to be turning.
He's on the
I'm
spot.
going to be turning 80 in December.
80!
So, yeah, how much longer? But I feel good, and it takes a lot out of you. As you know, we're about to do a production.
Beehive. Who was the young Gordon way back when in Amsterdam? And who is the something Gordon now?
I think I'm the same person. You're of course younger, but I always had vision, in the sense of I always projected my vision. What's next? What's going to happen to me next? And when I'm this age, when I'm 80, I ask myself that a lot. What was I like then? But I bridge that. I'm like, I'm doing the same thing.
Right.
So,
well, I think you're a lucky guy, because a lot of people talk about it, but they settle. Not everyone does it.
Right.
You have done it, you're doing it, and you're going to continue to do it. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you for having me.
Very soft-spoken, not a big mouth like yours truly, Gordon Cantiello. I want to thank you for joining us on this edition of In Focus with yours truly. And as always, I like to say, Gordon, I'll see you next week.